Start by creating a safe space, because we are going to have an experience today.
Oh boy.
Safe space is a choice, is an experience. Safe space exists because basically one thing: you're putting your consciousness there. You're putting your awareness there. Therefore, it becomes a safe space. Nothing in all of creation exists. Nothing exists until consciousness is present. Emergence is all about new experience. New experience in a way you haven't experienced in a long time, if ever, in all of your lifetimes. Let's go back to the I exist. I want you to tap into that joy of the soul that has always existed. It was never created. It can never be uncreated. It's simply in an innocent joy of I exist. And it's sent forth part of itself, which became human eventually, and is here in the experience of existing. But you know, along the way, the human got afraid of experiencing. The human kind of shut down, but that in itself is part of the experience. Now in emergence, we go back, no, we don't go back, we go into real experience once again. Not just surviving, not just getting by, but experience. I'm going to go back to Tobias' story, the journey of the angels. He talks about when you were in the angelic realms, non-physical. Well, how could you even exist? If you didn't have a body or a mind, and no light body, no time, what the? Well, that's just hard to imagine, isn't it? And if you could imagine, if you could just set yourself free for a moment and realize that you're out there in non-physical reality, but yet you existed, and you're having experiences, not of the physical nature, but really, actually, what you were doing back then was creating some of the initial senses. You were playing, you were creating all these senses, ways to perceive reality, so that someday, when you allowed yourself to be a true creator, you would have the senses to perceive your creation. So here you are. The soul has always existed, always, always. But the soul has not always been a creator. So along with your journey to this planet, along with experiencing things and answering the question, who am I think there was almost a bigger question. Am I ready to be a creator? Then you got into experience. You've had a series of experiences, but haven't availed yourself to the wisdom, to the answer, intentionally. You wanted to build the reservoir of wisdom so that when you were ready to receive it, the wisdom was complete. And that leads us to here, to today, to the Emergence series. That leads us to saying it's time for phase 3. It's time to receive that wisdom because you're ready. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Experience is a feeling. Experience is like a super sense. Experience is a super sense, but it's not put into the sense category yet. It's developing. Experience is there, but it has yet to come as a sense. And I say a super sense because in a way, the sense of experience is far greater than the sense of love or unity or communication or some of the other senses we've talked about. So as we're sitting here today together, as I'm doing a little bit of distracting, we are now bringing experience into a new sense, but a super sense. the ability to experience something outside of yourself is what the human has learned to do very well. The ability to experience oneself within their own creation, both internally and externally, is what we're now doing. I know it rattles the mind, so just take a deep breath with that. We're addressing several things at one time. How to choose your experience consciously, and how to create consciously. How do you get there? How do you do this? You just allow. That's it. It is a natural evolution. There's no tricks in it. There's no having to be smart in it. It's just allowing that to happen. So we go from the angelic realms from a long time ago, where there was no physical, there was no time, there was no even consequences of experience, then to the heaviness of Earth, this planet in human form, where you're out of touch with the wisdom, where the experiences seem to come from outside of you, and that's humans created God and religions to help understand it. Say, well, it must be coming from God. It must be my karma. And then we go past all that into conscious, chosen experience. That's why we're here.